Okay, good afternoon, gents. Hope everyone's well. It is the 19th of July. We're about 12 days off August. Man, it doesn't seem 5 minutes ago since Christmas, does it? Okay, so how you doing, Wood? Glad to see I had a winning trade yesterday. Yeah, it was, I've got to say, it was a much more relaxing evening last night. And I think I did the right thing yesterday. I sat patiently, wait for a nice trade. One came along in the afternoon. I think most of us did that, I think. And there you go. It sounds very simple, doesn't it? Just sit, wait for a great trade, but it's easier said than done sometimes. So I think what I've got to do is just focus on waiting for that really good quality setup, the obvious ones, and then just take it. And everything else, everything slightly congested or slightly unclear, I've just got to leave alone. And if I can do that, then realistically, I shouldn't go far wrong. But yeah, I needed a day yesterday, so it worked out okay. I finished a bit earlier, so it was just nice, actually. It was a really nice evening, so let me just set everything up. Exact quantity. So anyway, so how you doing, Wood? Edward, how you doing? Ranwolf, good morning, good afternoon. Chris, how you doing? Ionis, good morning. Brick, how you doing, bud? So let's see if we can get another positive day. I did download that the spreadsheet of Wilson's, the trade tracker spreadsheet of Wilson's, and I've had it for about 4 days. I wanted to wait till I had a winner to start, so it looks like I'm doing well. So I filled it in last night, and that was quite nice. So I think stuff like that's a good idea, because even that, I mean, if you get a good run on that, you want to do, you want to keep doing well, because it's, it shows your percentage and all that sort of stuff. So I thought I'd start using that, and that might help me think about taking better quality trades. It's not about quality. It's not about quantity. It's about quality. You start taking a larger quantity of trades, you're going to lose more if you wait for those quality trades. Things should work okay. So I've had a just look at this. We've had a leg up. We've had sort of 2 legs of correction and a couple of bounces off here. I did look at that one, actually. But I decided to leave it. We'd bounced a couple of times here and we pushed up and had a higher low. It would have worked nicely. I mean, even if you'd have took the failure, actually, that would have been probably just as good. But I don't know. I like to give it a little bit of time to work and give us a bigger picture. The trouble is sometimes when you jump in the market and there's not a great deal of volume, it's hard to sort of get a general overall picture. So I thought, take your time, come back, wait for the stream, get in there, and then focus. So there we go. So Alex, how you doing, bud? Chris, how you? Has he got a new spreadsheet? I don't think it's new, mate. I just think it's the 2023 version. But I've forgotten all about it, really. And I've been through various different stages of marking. My wife got me a book, a trading book, just to write everything down. But I mean, I always look at my screen at the end of the day, and where there's missed opportunities, and by the end of the day, when you're staring at that one chart, you don't need to do anything more. You can clearly see where your entries were, where your failures were. So, and I right click and save my chart every single day. But I'm starting to just sort of monitor and just note my win rate, win percentage, and all that, because I think if you've got the opportunity to do that, something that gives you all your the numbers, you can see if what your win percentage, and just the fact that I put that one trade in there yesterday and I noticed my win percentage is at 100% at the moment. So you want to try and keep it that way. So I think it's a useful tool to help you maybe take those better trades, because that really tells you a lot about a trader. If it's showing 85, 90%, you're doing okay. But obviously it shows your balance, and it shows you. So I put my balance in yesterday from my PA accounts, and I'm just going to build on that. So I got to say, it's so much more relaxing when you. I find I trade better when I do nothing for the first 20 minutes. Gives me time to settle, and just maybe a few breathing exercises just to calm the nerves down, because we all feel it, don't we? Where when we jump on a chart, we all get those little butterflies, sort of nervous, exciting type thing. So we all feel it. Look at that. I mean, once you get used to these push-up, couple of legs back, look how accurate these things are. If you can get in here and you've got the confidence, and I suppose confidence will come with time. If you're seeing this again and again and again and again, sooner or later you'll have the confidence to just jump here and then ride it up to maybe a few ticks off here. But that's how accurate these are. And you see me mark them every day, and you guys mark them every day. And look at that. That's accurate to the nearest tick. Bouncing right off there. So that's good. So, I missed Jay. Where can we get that spreadsheet? Is it on? Yes, it is, mate. You can just download it. You can open it. It's like an Excel file, but if you haven't got Microsoft Excel, you can use this LibreOffice. That's what I open mine on. I did have a trial version of Excel, but I think it's about £80 a year UK, but you can get it free with that. And then just open it there at the end of every day or every trade, or however we want to do it, and just but it's a nice way to keep track of your stats, basically. And I think just the fact that that's on your mind will help you make better decisions, which is another reason why I decided to start using it. So, how you doing, Graham? Brant, spreadsheet, yeah, basically look at Wilson's. I copied it. Yeah, the thing is, there's a lot of I don't quite understand them. I know you've got to put I don't know, what is it, a sum, or what do they call it, something like that, to get it to work out a thing. But yeah, it's free. If you're part of Max, it's free. Just download it. It's all there for you. Rodian, how you doing, mate? Oh, look, nice strong push up there. Okay, so market's officially open now. I'm looking up. Where is the liquidity? It's all up here. So I did do this quickly. Whether it'll continue or not, I don't know, but it'd be nice to get another day like that. If it does, it's at an overshoot. So I don't know, maybe we'll get something bigger sort of working up here, but there is a lot of liquidity up again. So, as we know, we're going up and up and up and up and up. We're going up, coming back a bit, going up, coming back a bit, going up. Maybe that's it, and we'll push again, or maybe it does look like it. We've broken those highs, so we may get another pullback and we may push higher. But, I have a feeling, based on what I can see, we may end up, having something like that throughout the day. It's a possibility anyway, but if you look back on the days, with the exception of that, it's, every day it's up, bit of a pullback and up. But we're generally working up is the bigger picture. So, there's a possibility, but that's really strong. That is just pushed up there, so I would expect it maybe to come back at some point, and then we'll see. But I think it's likely we may have something like that. But look at that. As I mentioned here, there's a lot of strong liquidity up there, which is getting sucked up. So, yeah, we may end up having something like that. It's possible. But I've got to say, I'm not a fan of range days, and we do get more than our fair share of them, so it would be nice to get. That was nice. That's one of the neatest channels I've seen for a long while. Up, pull back, up, and it was nice and neat. There wasn't a huge amount of setups. The trouble is, I did look at that one, but look at all that. See, you don't know whether we're going to have a continue down. You just don't know when that's going against you. But I think that was the one most of us took. We had a leg and a break and a leg and a push up, and I think quite a lot of people took that trade. And, for future reference, if we're in nice trends like this, I may hold on to trades like that a little bit longer. And if you had held on to that, it went up basically near 10 points, but even if you followed it up from this swing and to that swing, and then maybe up here or something, you'd have picked up 8 points, which is, it's 4 days worth of profits. So on nice strong trending days, I might decide just to hold on to my trades just that little bit longer, because if you can get 5-6 days, look at that. I didn't expect that. If you can get 5-6 days of nice, strong of profit in one trade, that's great. So, Groll Daddy, how you doing, bud? Sam, how are you? Nice. 2 points there. Where'd you get in there, mate? I don't know where you got in there. Maybe there. So let's have a look. Liquidity area 605. There's still some up here, which would be a new high. Let me just have a check of that. Around 6.3 to... Yeah, somewhere around about here. There's quite a bit of liquidity. There is some further down here. Some buying, which is telling me if it may come down here, then I think it's likely to push up. So if we can get a second entry down here, that might be a way up. But the trouble is, so many times now it doesn't even get close to the EMA before it pushes up. So around about there, 45.99, 4600, which is around about this area here. There's a lot of buy orders, so if we can get a nice push down, then that might be a nice option. So there's our first entry. Okay, the liquidity starts around here now, so I'm just going to get an order submitted just in case. If we can get, it's got to be down here for me, really. There's our first entry. Clear channel up there, nice and strong. I'd expect to make a new high up here. But as I mentioned, the liquidity is all around this. In other words, higher than that. So if you can get out before the highs, I think that'll be okay. But for me, it's got to get a bit lower than this. That's it. Nice. Excuse me. Okay. It's quite a strong push up there, which tells me there's some good buying orders. So, trouble is, there's not a massive amount to the highs, is there? I'd prefer it a little bit closer to the EMA. It does look like it's going to work, but maybe if we get a higher low, we'll see. It just looked a little bit risky. I much prefer it to push below and then push up. Yeah, I'm just not a fan of that. Okay, so that looks to me like one leg. We may get a bit lower here, so I'm glad I left that. I think that may get stopped out. Liquidity levels are around 59. It might be okay. Yeah, once it goes so far, I think. Okay, so that's worked actually. I just preferred that a little bit closer. So that would be my 2 points, which would be a new high. Yeah, I think it's going to smash that. Lovely. So that would have worked. I don't know. I'd much prefer it closer to that EMA, dropping through it a little bit. And not only that, let's have a look. It could have had a leg and it could have had a break and another leg. So it's just a little bit sideways here, isn't it? So yeah, it was just looking a little bit, I didn't like it, a little bit congested. Could have been a little channel on a push up. It depends how strong the market is, really. That's the order the decision making. Like to see a big channel. Yeah. I think, by the way, these liquidity levels, there's a chunk popped up here, so we may end up pushing a bit higher by the looks of things. I'm on extra safe zone at the moment, and I've been stopped out by them before. That could be one leg down. It may trigger you and have another leg down to here and then push up. And we could get a wider channel. And the reason I'm thinking that is because usually it goes from the bottom, these first two swings, which is here and touching here. So we could have a leg and another leg back, which is why I left that. It just looks like one little leg to me. And I got caught out, as you know, with one of those the other day. So let's just see how that gets on for now. A little bit extra risky in my opinion. What was the size of the bar? 1.75 points, tick above, tick below, so it's 2.25 points. Not only that, there was a lot of liquidity around about 59, which is here, which is a touch below there, so it did look like a bit of a leg that, although it was technically a second entry, and it worked. So there's a lot of liquidity around here now, so going up to the 30s. Maybe right. I mean, this is as high as we've been for a long while, this is. Let's have a wee look. Yeah, I mean, there is some up at 10, so in fact, that's taken that now. So let's get that up here. So, trouble is, currently, it's one leg up with a break and a new high. It's not necessarily been confirmed it's a bigger channel yet. It's starting to look like it, but you just don't know, do you? So, yeah, it's a leg and a leg. So whether we get up and have a second leg up here, I don't know. So there's a lot around the 7 as well. So copy, paste. There's a lot around there, which we haven't hit yet. Yeah, there's a chunk. Yeah, there's a big chunk around here. There's more there. I only took it for 4 ticks. It didn't touch the EMA. That would make a second leg. I only took it for 4 ticks because it didn't touch the EMA. Oh, so you took it, but you just took a limit order. Yeah, I mean, there's no reason if it triggers and it comes back here, you can't just jump in here for half a point or whatever it is. Yeah, I see. I much prefer those when they push through the EMA and then reverse up. I love them when they sit on the EMA. They don't get any better than that. And it did look like a leg, and it could have gone up a little bit and then down a bit more. But as you say, there was a trade yesterday which was about 3 ticks on that big push up. And I get people taking them. Now, once my balance gets a little bit more healthier, then I may do things like that, wait for it to tick in the middle and just think, okay, so what are you risking there? Next to nothing. So if you go for a tick below, say there, and you're coming around there, you're risking a point maximum, which is $100. You know, maybe seven times out of 10 that may work. In which case, even if you're doing 1-to-1, it's a no-brainer, really. But for me, I've just got this psychological battle. I need to wait and get some good, solid entries. Yeah, so we got something similar here. So, do you remember I just mentioned there, it's likely we could come out and have a bigger channel because it usually goes off those first 2 swings. Let's have a look. So there you go, touch. What does this look like? So this, I think it's likely. We may end up having something like this. It's a little bit early to follow that. So I'm just going to dismiss it just for a minute. See what happens here. There is a first entry, but it's a little bit congested. have you reached your dream to become a profitable trader? I've made money. The last 3 months in a row, I had $4,000 last month, $2,000 this month. Now, the trouble is, what I'm doing is when my account's hitting $2,600, I've taken a payment every month out of my accounts. Now, the downside, the upside to that is it gives you money, so you've got more money to invest, but it makes your accounts critically low. So I've decided this month to not take anything, and I want to try and build my accounts up to maybe 5,000 to 7,000. If I can get above 5,000, I can take 2,000 out. That leaves me 3,000, which is enough cushion. And if I can do that, I've currently got 5 PA accounts. So that's all I'm doing at the moment. I've done lots of bits of evaluations, and I try and pass them quick and then rush them. But during the week, I was trading 5 contracts in the evening on an evaluation, and I needed $100, no, about $80 to get one of my PA accounts above 2,600. And I saw an opportunity and I switched it over and I jumped in. But what I forgot to do was switch it from 5 contracts to 1 contract, and I ended up losing $400. So I'm going to have a time where I'm going to trade evaluations, but for now I'm going to concentrate on these 5 PA accounts, and I want to build these till they're all over $5,000 each. Leg down, leg down. And then once I can start making regular monthly payments on those, then I may introduce another 5 evaluations, but I'm getting them a little bit mixed up. So this is where this accuracy of this channel is important. Now look where that's touching there, right on there. So touching there, touching there. So it's hard to say here. We could have had a break and a new high, so this may go lower. I don't think it will. I think it's pushing up. But at the moment, it's a bit early to do anything with a bigger channel. We know, I mean, I think it's pretty fair to say there is a channel working up, but it's a bit too early to say exactly where it is. So I'm just going to get rid of these for a minute, just to make it a bit clearer. Now that looks like a leg down and another leg down to me, but I don't like that bar. Let's have a look. There is liquidity at 62. So good luck. Thank you, mate. I appreciate that. I've had what have I had? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I've had $10,000 just this year. Now it don't sound like a lot, but what I'm doing is more than covering my costs by a lot anyway. So I'm able to have a bit of money every month. As I say, I did 4,000 last month, 2,000 last month. I had one in, I think, April and one in January. So, but I think it's quite common when you first start to hit those targets and withdraw, you just want to withdraw money. But the downside is you're leaving your accounts critically low. But I think once you've had a few payments and you've got over that initial excitement that you're finally being able to make some money, I think then, I mean, I was looking at, I've got 2 accounts, which are within $100 of the 2,600. So theoretically, I could take $4,000, but I had a chat with my wife and I've decided now, forget taking money for another month. Let's try and build those over 5 grand. So at least next month when I take a payment, I've still got a nice 3,000 cushion. And then hopefully I should be able to take money out of that every month. So that's the plan. Concentrate on 5 PA accounts. Forget the evaluations because I'm getting confused when I'm trading them and interlinking them. And my mindset is different when I trade them. I'm a lot more careful when I trade my PA accounts. I get a bit too risky when I trade the evaluations, and I don't want to get the two confused. So it's just concentration time on the PAs and forget the evaluations for the time being. There's a time and a place for that. I'm not sure what's going on here at the moment. I don't know whether we've had a break and a new high. I don't know. It's feasible that I think it's probably safe to say at the moment we've done that. We've had a break and we've made a new high. So I think that's probably the safest way to draw that chart at the moment. If it then continues to push up, and then I may look at other options. What I'm going to do is mark that as a slightly higher riskier trade. I'll mark the green ones. Why is that? Let's have a look. Okay, there is still liquidity up here. And there's some strong at 600 down here. So maybe we may end up doing a bit of sideways. I don't know. I'm going to have to let it go for a bit. Sometimes you start drawing these too early and you get them wrong. They change your bias. Okay, so we've had this. We've had a break and a new high. Now there's a failure there which is triggered. It'd be interesting to see whether that works. I think that's going to get stopped out, personally. Or it could be a leg down and a leg down. There you go. So that did work. So I'd say whatever's happening here, if we're not ranging, we're probably going to push up for a new high. It's hard to say. Okay, so I don't like what's going on here. That's completely confusing. We're going up, we're going down. I thought that was looking nice and positive for a minute. By the way that triggered that out, I thought, oof, off we go. But see, if you took that failure, let's say first entry, push below the EMA, failed second entry long, it triggered you, stopped you out straight away. But then it's coming down, so the market's playing tricks at the moment. I don't mind getting stopped out if I've got the market wrong and it's pushing up, but the way that happened, it stopped me out, and now it's trying to pick on the longs as well as the shorts, so. But yeah, we may end up doing a bit of sideways here. As I say, there is some liquidity down there, which may indicate leg up, a leg down, maybe a bit sideways, it's possible. That liquidity is down there, see, which will be just below this. So leg down, leg down. This may be a couple of legs down. So let's have a look. Okay, it could do something like this. So yeah, leg down, leg down. Also, as well as doing these early, I'm learning it's not good drawing these ranges early, because if it comes down, you may be inclined to buy. If it's not a range, it might just be coming down. So if you're buying it as it's coming down, you may get trapped. So let's wait for it to hit a couple of places and bounce, and also on the top before I draw those, because at the moment it's just a little bit of sideways, so there's some uncertainty there. It may have something to do with the fact that, is that a bigger channel or not? I don't know. Or it could be a leg up, a break, new high, a couple of legs back, and something further up, so it could end up being a much steeper channel. It's possible. Could end up doing something. Who knows? It's just too early at the moment, but I dare say we'll know in the next 30-40 minutes. Lots of traps there. There was a failure trap. leg down, leg down. I mean, that looks really bullish, but it could be a trap. I mean, you could say that's a failure, possible second entry long. I don't know. I mean, it's a really strong bar, but it's nothing I really want to get into at the moment. Could be a trap. As I say, there's some really strong liquidity down there. It could just come down and knock that out. Oh, is it a week on Monday? A week on Monday, I'm having super ultra fast fiber fitted, which will give me 900 megabits per second as opposed to about the 46 megabits I've got now. My upload speed now is about 11 to 13 megabits per second. It should be about 900 then. So I believe then I can switch from normal latency to ultra low latency. So I believe that will give us a delay of about 2 seconds maximum. So that's good news. So it'll help me and hopefully help you guys as well. If you be able to see literally by the time I finish my sentence. And bearing in mind, you know how long my sentences last. But a couple of seconds, I believe. So it should be nice and crisp clear as well. The upload speed as well. So that's the key. The upload speed is always usually slower than the download speed. Download speed is usually 4 times quicker. I don't quite know why that is, but I'll up my upload speed by a lot. I can't think off the top of my head. Well, I believe with fibre the download speed is the same as the upload, so 900 megabits, one hell of a lot quicker. Okay, so I'm just going to get rid of this measured leg. I know it's where this liquidity at 600. There's about 350 orders there, so it may come down here. But at the moment, it's just doing that. And as we know, when it's like this, stay away. Excellent. Yeah, we've had a leg down sideways. I think it's feasible. We'll have another leg down. It depends how strong that market is. It may just rocket back up. Depends what type of day we're going to have. I mean, we may end up ranging. This might just be the top of a range. I don't know. It doesn't. I don't think we will. We may have a couple of legs and then some more upwards. Leg down, a little bit of sideways, another leg down. I would class that as 2 legs of correction then, and then if we can, then push up. Happy days. What has that moved? Just in the daily summertime range here. I meant to email Mac last night. If volume does continue to get very slow, is it a problem moving up to the 1,000 tick? Interesting what his views are. The trouble is, Mac doesn't talk too much, does he, about certain things? It keeps it to the chart. I wish he'd tell us maybe a little bit more about maybe his journey. You know, how many counts he blew. He's quite. Someone told me he's quite a private person, and he doesn't talk about his private life at all, really, does he? Certain things we know with the cancer, and we know he's a fisherman, but apart from that, we don't know a great deal about him. It'd be nice to know how he started, when he started, and how he got on when he first started. Sometimes it's just nice to get into the mind of the man, isn't it? Well, I got up at night, and I looked at 3 o'clock in the morning, and there was nothing, because I usually watch it. It's usually late at night. It's usually around midnight when it comes in the UK, so... But no, there was nothing. I still don't think there is anything. Let's have a wee look. Oh, yes, tell a lie. Oh, no. Was that yesterday? Oh, yeah, he did. Must have been late. Let's have a look. Yeah, he marked that higher low we all took. He also marked a second entry a little bit up, about 5 or 6 bars further up. I mean, I finished streaming after that. I just needed a nice winning day. But yeah, he did it. It must have just been late. Yeah, he did mark that. I knew he'd mark it. It was the trade of the day. It was an obvious trade. I think the only slight question was how bullish was it, but I think it was, it could have been a tick higher on someone else's chart, and I've seen Mac take trade. It's more the context than the signal bar, I think, sometimes, because I've seen Mac mark 2 dojis in a row. Now, as far as a signal bar, a doji is probably the worst one. Well, maybe not as bad as a complete bearish bar going up, but you certainly wouldn't normally take a doji. But like I say, it's context is important. Probably slightly more important than the bar. If the context is good, and the bar could be slightly better, as in that one yesterday, it's still worth doing it. So we've had a breakout of here. Let's see what happens now if we fail it. We have done so. I still don't see it. I've just had a look on my phone. It's definitely the one, because we had that nice solid. What's it? Does it say anything about the day? Mac is the goat. Someone's put a comment. Oh, hold on a minute. This says the 17th. Now that's strange. Looked to me like the same. So look, that's odd. No, I think it is. Let's have a wee look. Trading with Travis. One day. So look, I've got the volume switched down. Oh no, tell a lie. That says the 16th. That don't half look like it, doesn't it? Can we take that one there? Why is that such a crap picture? There is a higher low there, actually. Here. Trouble is, we're getting into the realms of these highs. There's also a second entry short, which is trapped there, but I don't know. The trouble is, we've had a break in a new high at the moment, so I need to be careful. And there is a possibility, and I think it's likely now I see that I don't really want to be going long right there, because 1, 2, 3 times it's bounced off here, which is telling me I shouldn't really be going long here just yet, because there's barely a point to the top. Now, I'm not saying it's not going to work, but yeah, there's half a point to the top. There's a 1.25 right to the very highs. It could be a leg breaking a leg and then drop. So yeah, I'm not a fan of that. I don't want to be going 3/4 of the way up a range, and it is a range at the moment because we've clearly touched. Let's bring that down 3 times. We've been held here, once, twice there. Sorry, let's get rid of that. I don't know. I dare say we'll find out today. It was a failure. But the trouble is, it's so close to the tops here. I don't know what you'd have got. I don't think you'd have quite got 2 points. No, you may have squeezed a point depending on where your entry was. Let's do it 1 tick above, which is about there. So you wouldn't have got a point out of that currently. But it does look like we got a leg, and we may. I think if we can get above here, if you're looking at that channel on a break, trying to go 1 strike or twice, you may have took that 1cc. You may be thinking we're going to push up a bit more and come down. So, not sure what it'll do there. I took this as well, larger channel. It's a new high, fell second entry. What did you do? Fell second entry short. So, so you're in that trade, are you? Yeah, I'm just not sure about this scene. Look, it's struggling there, and it may come back. You wouldn't have got a point out of that currently, but it may hold. See, I'm not convinced I know that there's something else yet. I think it's likely there is, but... It's struggling. It may. You got 4 ticks. You must have got in on a limit order, did you? Because if you got in a tick above it, yeah, that wouldn't have triggered you. Yeah, it's tight, that. The trouble is, my issue is, if you look at that, we've had a break and a new high. Well, there you go. I thought if it goes, it'll go quick. I was just concerned about these highs. It's clearly bounced off there 3 times. Let's have a look. Okay, let's see if we can figure out some sort of a bigger channel here. Let's try it from here. May end up doing something like that. It fits lovely back here. I mean, it may come back here. I mean, it's been quite strong there, isn't it? And we've gone a bit sideways, so... let's see what happens here. I think it's likely it may be something like that. Touched here, so... It fits lovely on the backside, so let's see if we can get a couple of legs down. Yeah, I mean, look how quick that dropped. So what would you got out of that? It didn't go. That's the trouble with the ATR low. These big moves aren't as big as they think, are they? So you'd have got 2.5 points out of that. And a squeeze. It's just a bit risky, really, because we've seen it bounce off there 3 times, so it just adds that little bit extra to it. 1 tick back, yeah, you'd have had to, wouldn't you? But in the end, I thought if it gets above here, it might have a bit of a pop, and it did, but then we dropped suddenly, so it'd be nice to get a couple of legs back around about here. I'm just trying to take stuff a little bit more obvious. I wouldn't class that as a great trade. I want a little bit more obvious. I'm working on my mental health at the moment, so I think the trouble is with me, I think what doesn't help sometimes is Mac marks so many bloody trades, it does make you feel inferior. you're thinking, well, why is Max seeing that many high probability trades? And it makes you feel like you can do more than you can. And it's a little bit contradictory, because he says he takes 1 to 3 trades a day, but he marks what he classes as a dozen high probability trades. Now, we look for high probability trades. Now, if there generally was a dozen high probability trades, Mac would be taking them. He'd be stupid not to. So that tells me a lot of the trades he marks because they worked, but I wouldn't necessarily class them as high probability trades. And the trouble is every trade he marks works, and I think that sometimes that can instill the wrong information in your head. And I'm thinking, hold on a minute, if he's saying 20, half a dozen, 15 high probability trades a day, why am I not seeing them? I think we may, as I mentioned earlier, get another leg. Definitely getting some strong movement. I've got a chunk of my pension in the S&P, so that's looking quite rosy at the moment. I can't remember when the last high beat this. It had to be well over a year ago, 18 months ago. It's got to be at least a year and a half ago since the market's been this high. At least. So things are looking quite rosy. Crypto's looking relatively nice, like it's about to start moving. We keep getting a pump and a little pullback, a pump and a little pullback, and we're floating around about that $30,000 Bitcoin. But I don't think it'd be long on people who I tend to follow. People like Cathy Wood and Michael Saylor. People with proven track records. I think we're in a bull run, or a very slow start of a bull run. I think once we officially get well above this 30,000, then I think people will get a bit more faith and start buying in. Agreed about Mac. Yeah, Thomas Wade. Yeah, I know what you said. I think the thing is, Mac, now it frustrates me because he's a lovely guy. And I just don't know. I think it sends the wrong message to people who are learning. And most of his target audience are inexperienced traders. A lot of them are very new traders. And when you're seeing someone marking a dozen trades a day, high probability trades, indicated by the blue and red little arrows, it just shows you those setups. There clearly can't be that many trades, because if there really was that many trades a day, Mac would be a fool not to take them. Of course he would. It's common sense, that. But a lot of trades that work doesn't necessarily mean it's a good setup and it's a high probability trade. But what it does is you see these setups and you start to get these pictures of these setups in your head, and when you take them, when you see them, you take them. And I think it's the wrong information to give, personally. Mac's a lovely guy. He's a great trader. But I think some of his teaching methods, I mean, some of us are natural teachers. Some of us, I don't think Mac comes over as a natural teacher, a good way of getting things over. But we all have our strengths and weaknesses. Obviously, Mac's primary thing is a trader. And he's a very successful trader. But yes, I like to watch him because I like him. If I take a trade, I like to see that he sees these trades, or if something was a bit unusual for the day, I like to hear his opinion. But as in looking at all the trades he marks, I probably don't tend to do it as much. Explaining things, yeah, I think Mac's definitely a more successful trader. But explaining things, yeah, I think Thomas is good at explaining things, isn't he? But yeah, I think Mac's not a natural teacher. Some people aren't. And some people just know how to get over. But I like listening to him because he's Mac and he's a nice guy, and he's, as far as I'm concerned, he's done me a solid, charging me a measly $125 to teach me to trade. His peanuts. I know people who pay a lot of money. I mean, even if the sniper system through Apex, what is it, $200 a month? And if it takes you a couple of 3 years to learn to trade, it can cost you quite a few £1,000s. So I think the money he charges us is nominal for the value we get. It's just I tend to more watch it because it's him and just to see his opinion on certain trades. But as for looking at the trades he takes, I take a little bit less interest. Yeah, in the sense that we've been doing it a while, so we know the system a little bit now. But newer traders coming in, who've just started and they're seeing max trades, and they're looking at these little patterns. Okay, Mac took that, let's go for it, and they're losing trades. Well, if they were really that good trades, a trade cannot look good until it works. If a trade works, you can call it a successful trade. You can sometimes find a reason to go long, but it doesn't necessarily mean that's the type of trade you want to be learning to take. In all honesty, there's only usually 1, 2, 3, maybe really good trades a day. Sometimes you're hard pushed to find one, especially now. I mean, up until I traded yesterday, that higher low that I took and a lot of other people took, for me, that was the only decent trade. Was that a 10 out of 10? No, it was a 9 out of 10 in my opinion. Slightly better signal bar would have been nicer, but it wasn't a bad signal bar, but the context was right. But apart from that, some days we have days where we struggle to find. It was the day before we struggled to find a trade. But the beauty of being able to trade on prop firms like Apex is you only need one trade. If you've got 10 accounts, technically you've won 10 trades. So, that's the beauty of that. So it'll be interesting now to see what happens here. We've had this smaller channel there. We've had a break in a new high. So we may even get a break here, but I'd like to see a second entry before I think about going long. And my only other issue is it's always possible we may end up having something like a shallower channel. Either way, if you had either of those, this is the area where you would be thinking about going long after a decent entry. So if I'm not sure, I tend to just sit and watch and let it go. But I try to keep in my mind, I've got 5 PA accounts at the moment. All I need is 1 2-point trade and I've got myself $1,000. And on five accounts, that's a lot of money. And if you can muster up the patience to wait for that one really good quality trade a day and go for a couple of points, and there's very, very few trades I see that don't make a couple of points. I look back at max charts. I told you, didn't I? A couple of weeks, something like that. I think I marked 107 trades, 105 made 2 points or more. It was 2 that didn't. That's a no-brainer. If you're going for 2 points instead of 1, you're making 50% profit. It's a no-brainer for me. So there's very few trades that don't make 2 points, especially the good trades. Trades in these areas where they may make a scalp but not more. But like yesterday, we had 2 lovely legs back and a higher low in a really nice solid trend. It's going to make 2 points and more all day long. Okay, so that's interesting. So we can push up a bit and then have another drop. It's holding there nice. In fact, I could even sort of micro adjust that to make it fit even nicer. So let me. Okay, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. So look at that. Touch there, near enough there, sitting beautifully there. We may be blessed and have another really good trending day. Yesterday was, although there wasn't a huge amount of trades, the one we had was pretty good. And it was a nice channel to, at least we know where we're going here. We know we're looking for longs. Sniper system starts with teaching you only take 10 ticks on NQ. which is only $50 per contract, minus commission, yeah. The trouble is, I think I was in a conversation, actually, on one of the Apex Facebook groups, and I said, yeah, the trouble is, it's $200 a month, and Darren Martin went, well, why wouldn't you want to pay $200 a month? And I went, well, I would if I was earning money, but if it takes me 2 years to learn to do it before I'm earning money, that's costing me $5,000. That's if I do make it as a trader. That's just in 2 years. It can take, considerably longer. I wish they'd do it that you can use it for free, but until, when you start making money, or through Apex or something, then you pay. I don't mind paying if I'm making money, but interesting. So we got a leg down and a break. Now, it is quite strong, so it may just continue to push up, but for me, I want a little drop back, giving us another little second entry down here, or maybe another little leg that drops. My only issue is we come from the top there, we've come from the top there, we've come from the top there. We're inching back this way, aren't we? So it's areas like this where we can get breaks, so we could have a leg down, it might trigger it, and then have another leg down. And as I mentioned, I'm not 100% certain that it may be, that actually fits beautifully as well, so it may be a slightly different channel. So I don't know. It'd be interesting to see if that goes above there. Unfortunately, we came back there and pushed that. There wasn't really an entry. You may have said that was a high low, possibly. I don't know. You may have taken a small risk. But I don't like the fact that I like these when you come right from the top right to the bottom with no break, but we're slowly coming back closer and closer, aren't we? Which is narrowing. Which is making me a bit nervous. Diddly oil numbers in 10 minutes. I've got nothing on my chart. It might be medium impact news. I don't tend to bother with it too much. I know. I think a lot of traders don't tend to bother too much. Let's see if we got anything from back here. Not yet. Come on, Mac. Give us this. I want to see what Mac's got here. Low impact, yeah. Low impact just don't really do anything, in all honesty. Traders I spoke to don't even have it on the chart. The only reason I ever put the medium impact, because we had a little spike once, maybe something about the Chicago, maybe 4 or 5 months ago, and someone said it may have been because of that. So just out of curiosity, I put the medium impact news on, but I don't think many do. So it'd be interesting to see what happens now. If it does bounce off here, then I'd say there's probably a slightly less steeper angle there, or I've got this channel wrong. But what I will say is we've touched, and it's fitting nice there. So it may break out into a less steeper angle. We'll soon find out. So we have still got that liquidity at 10. 375. Yeah, the volume's still a bit low. 375 orders there. So maybe like the bit that's making me nervous is we've come from the top. We've had 2 legs down. We've gone from the top. We've sort of come down, but we've not. In fact, I'm not even a massive fan of this channel anymore, really. I'm more focused on this. Let's have a look. Although I prefer these when they're a bit steeper. Someone told me the less steep they are, the less accurate they are. I think that's probably a little bit better. Touched, close enough. In fact, you could almost reel that in a fraction. So yeah, that's touching nice for me. and that can come in a fractione. Yeah, touch, 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 touch. I think that's okay for me. Let's get rid of this now. I don't think we're not ranging because each time we're going higher and higher. You have it on your chart, the line above. I don't think you're talking to me, but are you? Arminder, how you doing, mate? Chart the line above the trend channel. On the spiking channel, line above the trend channel. Yeah, see if you'd have took that as a high low, I don't think you'd have got 2 points, would you? So look. Yeah, you'd have got a point and a quarter depending on where you got in. And I wouldn't have liked that coming in. Now, having said that, we may get a leg and a leg. It's possible. This layer area is important. There is some big orders here, so I'd certainly expect to get through there sometime. But the issue, I mean, the issue of the bigger channel is we're clearly stopping here. So whether we'll have a leg and push above this, I don't know. But that's just making me a bit nervous. So I think it's important to be aware that it is holding prices there. So going long here might not be the greatest of ideas. It was before you draw the last version of your chart, right? Okay. The line above the channel. Line of spiking channel, the line above the channel. I'm not sure what you mean, bud. Not sure what you mean. Let's see what happens here now. Interesting. Yeah, see, depending on how you got your channel, you might see that as a higher low. And it's funny, it's triggered, so I think that's going to get stopped out. Depending on how you've drawn that channel, that's why I like to be aware of this area here now. It may go up, but the way that's triggered and pulled down a little bit would make me nervous. It looks like a leg up and a pullback, and you may expect another leg up in a bigger channel. But the fact that that area is holding prices... it's making my arse twitch. So interesting. Possible failure. Maybe a trap. I don't know. I really want to see what Mac's version of this is. We usually get it around about 1/2 don't we? Or 1/2, should I say. Come on, Mac. Don't let me down. No, nothing. Excuse me. He's not off, is he? Anybody know? Not heard anything. Interesting. So a possible failure. No, it's finishing naff anyway. But yeah, if you did take that as a higher low, you had this channel larger. That to me looks like it's coming down. Certainly there. Second entry short. If that triggers, it may stop that one out and then push up and stop itself out. And I got no idea, but I wouldn't like to be in that trade now. If anybody did take it, I mean, the way I've got my channel drawn now, you wouldn't take that in a million years. But if you got a bigger channel drawn somehow, then you may. But also, it could be a leg up, some sort of sideways up, and another leg up. It's possible, but that to me. I don't know if anybody would have taken that leg up, pull back to the main, another leg up. It's going to get stopped out almost definitely, but Yeah. So that's the problem if you've drawn this channel any different. I can't even remember how we had it now. Yeah, I mean, if you've got that channel like that, in all fairness, it sort of fits. Get lost. We've come from this here, this first swing, touched here. So you may think push up a higher low. It's triggered you, come down and stopped you out. So now this is a failure. I'm still a bit nervous about this. I think that would probably work better than this one, certainly to get to the highs. But yeah, if you've got your channel drawn like that, so you might think touch here, touch here, touch here, touch here. Okay, we've pushed up, come back, let's take the higher low. Just triggers you, come back, stopped you out. So it's just a little bit unsure here, which is why I've got rid of that. And I've left that one because the way that's pushed up, I'd say it's obviously it's respecting this line a bit more. So if you did take that one, it didn't trigger anyway. So things are just getting a little bit uncertain now. So you could micro adjust that a little bit, just a little bit. Leg down, leg down. I'm just not sure at the moment. The less steep these are, I believe, the less accurate they are. So I just don't know what's going on at the moment. It's a little bit sideways. We're clearly moving up a little bit. But So there is some big sell orders at 46.04, which is here. So let's see what happens there, which is hit them. But there is still some liquidity up here, so like a range. It is. The only thing that's put me off drawing a range is each one of these, well, coming back there with this top, that top, that top, that top. They're progressively getting higher and saying the bottoms. So that's the only thing that's put me off drawing a range at the moment. But it's, I mean, you could say that there actually. But the trouble is the tops are still getting higher. So I think it's more slightly upwards at the moment. Let's see what happens here. But I thought we were going to get a really nice continuation of yesterday, a nice slow, long push up. Yeah, that does look like a leg, a little bit of sideways and another leg. So let's see how this one finishes. Let's try the range. I think mainly this top bit is probably more rangy. Let's have a look. Okay, that might be better. So we've had a break, a couple of legs back, pushed up into this, so that looks a bit better. Let's see what happens here again. In fact, we can take that up a fraction. Touch, 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 touch. Nice. Okay. So now you may take that. I don't think it's a terrible trade. But I'm not. It's a bit congested. I'd rather just give it a little bit more time in this area first. It looks like a leg, a little bit of sideways, another leg, but I don't know. It's just got danger to me personally. Excuse me a minute. I'm just going to take a quick pee break. Oh, interesting. Well, price is still held anyway. Okay, this may come down now. This looks like a leg and a leg to me. I would say, I would think that would come down just the way it looks. Push down, a little bit of sideways, another push down. So there we go. Look at that. How far though? Or is this going to be a bigger range? Let's have a look. Yeah, I still would expect to come down a little bit further actually. Let me have a look at these liquidity areas. So the last of the liquidity finishes around here, so let's see whether we push back into this. I personally think we're going to come down a bit more. Actually, I'm wondering whether we yeah, that might just be a bigger range. It's always better to get as low as you can on the range, because if you take that one thinking the range is here, it triggers you, comes down. So I think it's important to try and get this thing as low as you can, so at least if it does break out and you take a long here, you're taking it at the lowest part you can. We may get a channel down here. Let's have a look. Yeah, this looks like a leg down, a little bit of sideways and another leg down. Once we get below here, I can see us coming down and hit this measured leg down. Interesting. Interesting. Right, you wouldn't long there anyway, so I think it'll continue to come down. I can't see where you'd take a long off that bar. Okay, so liquidity is at 600. There is some down there, and there's some a bit lower as well. At 98. Actually, let's put the 98 down, because that would coincide with the bottom of this leg, if indeed it does come down. I'd say it's going to. I mean, we touched here, we touched here, we touched here, touched a couple of times there, touched up here, nice touch. So that looks like a nice channel there. So Actually, I haven't done this. Why does it do that? Okay, so maybe a bit of a pullback and down, or maybe we're coming back into this range. From what I can see, I would say we're more likely to come down to this measured move. Right, leg down, a little bit of sideways and up, and another leg down. Whether it's in the form of a second entry short, I'm not going to take this though. I don't want to be short in there, right at the bottom of a potential range. But be interested if it does give us a second entry short, but I might have to leave it actually because it's getting a little bit congested. Interesting. Okay, there's your first entry. See what happens here. So that's interesting there. That's nice and bullish. If it finishes that way, I dare say there's going to be a lot of people going along there. Let's see if it triggers and what it does. Now, it'll either trigger and go up or it'll trigger and come down. Because that looks like kind of a nice channel. So it's hard to say. I mean, it's certainly an attractive place to go along, but I just don't know. Okay, it looks like it's working. Okay, that worked nice. I'm just not sure what's going on here at the moment. It's just a bit choppy and a bit unclear. This is what I hate. Sometimes you see this and it just drops quickly or shoots up quickly. There could be quite a few longs in here, so you just don't know. Sometimes they just drop. It doesn't look like it's going to continue up, but I just makes me nervous when it struggles like that, because that's often when things just drop. You took that, did you, Brant? What was that? Yeah, 2.5 points. Tick above, tick below 3 points. Quite high, actually, compared to what the ATR is at the moment. ATR says the average bar with 2 ticks is about 2.1. That's 3 points. That's quite large in the grand scheme of things. See what I mean about this? There'll be some longs in there, I dare say. Hate that when that happens. Just market starts moving quick. Just by the way it was going slow, I expected something pretty quick. Be interesting to see if it does break below there, because you may have had, excuse me, people going long above there. To be honest with you, I think I'm pretty sure Max says, well, even if it hasn't had a break, I think the range has precedent, really. I think so. I don't know how many times we see these just pushing down in a channel like that, and wham, they just turn up. Yeah, you would have got 2 points out of that anyway, comfortably. Yeah, so 2 points would have got you here. Yeah, it's just a little bit unpredictable at the moment. I mean, after seeing that push up like that, you know, I'd have put money in it getting to these highs. Yes. Finally got something from Mac. Yeah, he basically put the same thing that I did. Sideways from there, a little bit less steeper, but yeah, that's pretty much how I had it. And then I changed it a bit then, didn't I, to a range, because it sort of went more rangy, that top part. So let's see if that still fits that channel. And the reason I'm saying that is because we may have a break of it and a new high. So what I'm going to do for now is just get rid of that. Max only just put, in fact, let me just check how long ago did he put it on. I think it's really recently. So let's just remove that for the time being. Get rid. Right, Max, yeah, pushing up. Max finishes here, there. Is that right? Yeah. So he's got that. Yeah, he's got that little bit of sideways like I got rid of mine, but yeah, going from there basically. And the reason I've done that, not only that Matt's got it there, because you would think then maybe we're going to have a leg, couple of legs back and another leg up back into here, into the new highs. So, happy days. So we got a leg up. That's a second entry long, but it's below the EMA. EMA is a bit flat, so it's a bit, so it'd be not in, after that, there's a new low, try alongs. Nice to get a failure up here. So liquidity still there, which I'd expect, and it is a new high from that. So, and if a trade goes long here, I'll just message Max, say, well, I copied your channel, you had it like that. So it's clearly touching there. There's no argument there, is there? And we had a breakout here. Missed the second entry long. In all fairness, if you didn't have that channel like that, you may leave it. Because one, it's below the EMA. Two, the EMA is flat. And it's just, I don't know, it's not the safest of trades, put it that way. I think you're much better off waiting for the failure. So you would expect to make a new high, and we have got a ton of liquidity up here. So I'd certainly expect to get there, but it's just finding the right entry. So we've got a leg up there with a second entry long, but it's just flat and a bit risky. Much better to wait for the failure. Yeah, second entry long, it's just, it's not ideal. If it pushed up here close to this, maybe traders trapped in there. If it was a little bit more bullish than that, then I don't think it would have been a bad trade to take, but it just adds that extra risk. We expect to make a new high, but there's no guarantees, is there? If we can get a higher low here, then I would certainly expect to make a measured leg there. As we know, these measured legs are really bang on accurate. And that would take us up to a new high. And I would expect that to go higher and punch through this as well, which it often does. So if we can get a failure here. Now, possible second entry short may trigger some shorts. This may be an option. See if this triggers, then maybe take an order above there. So it is a second entry short. Now, if I'm going to get in this trade, it's got to trigger. So interesting. Come down, you bugger. Come on. Trigger, come on. Because people may be thinking we're coming down here, so that's triggered. That's interesting, that is. So I'm just going to go stop market there. I am. See how this finishes. I mean, we've had a break. It has tried a couple of times to go high. There's no guarantees it's going to. Has that made a point, has it? Yeah, it has. Push up one leg, two leg. Interesting.
Order cancelled.
I didn't expect that, actually. So if you took that long there, ooh, you'd have squeezed. You may not have got 2 points out of that. You may be in that trade, which is why it's gone long. If you'd have taken that one and you hold in for it to push higher, look at that. It's dropped out and taken out. Yeah, there's going to be some shorts there. Some longs there. Quite likely there as well. And look at that. Oof. I wasn't expecting that. Yeah, to be honest with you, the only place I'd have bought would be above there anyway, or above here, but yeah, I didn't expect that. Silver bullet, that's more like a bloody bazooka, that thing. I wasn't expecting that to come down like that. Yeah, if you'd gone in along there expecting to make a new high, you've been screwed, and there as well. Whether you'd have took there, I don't know. You'd have certainly took there, but for the likes of most of us, we'd have been out before there. What points would you have got? If you'd have gone in there, one tick above there, so say there, you'd have certainly got two and a quarter points. But if you're holding on for this and all this liquidity, you'd have, once that started moving, you were screwed. That's the trouble. Markets can do this, and it's hard exactly to know why they do it. Maybe. So we may end up having a bloody big range day after all. Let's put that there. It is possible. It's a bit of an odd looking range day, but nonetheless we could end up doing something like that. Didn't expect that. Now we're going to take a second entry short here. I don't know. Big guy running stops. I thought all the big guys are on Ollie at the moment. Second entry short. Oh, I don't know, because we had this big drop. It's quite often to recover, isn't it, and get it all back. We see all the time. It's not to say a second entry short's not going to work, but it's, I don't know, I'm not a fan at the moment. I'd say we're likely to push a bit back up. Having said that, there is some more liquidity here. So, trouble is, it may trap you into a short and then push higher, because we've got a first entry there. It may come down, give you a failed second entry and push higher. I don't think we're coming down. We may come down a bit, but I don't think it's going to be much. Personally, I think this is the way back up. They ran the stops, yeah. That's why it's even more important to take really solid entries. There was a little bit of congestion there. EMA's flat. It's below the although it did make a bit, but just not enough, unfortunately. If you didn't get out, you just got shafted. Let's put that a tick above. So yeah, you'd have got 6 ticks there. Nothing more really. You may have squeezed another tick out of it, but yeah, risky taking a short here. I would say we're going to probably recover a lot of this. There is that liquidity, so it may get down to there, but I don't think it'll get much further. Just enough to trap some shorts, and then I think we'll go in higher. There's a failure there. Failed second entry short, possibly. Probably going to be some stops above here, so just not clear really. Okay, possible lower high. Still not a massive fan. Now we wait to see a true direction. Looks like there's a lower high, but I'm not getting in at the moment. I'm just not a fan of this. I know there's that liquidity there. But, I mean, I think we're going to do this personally. Yeah, if you did take that stop, you're going to get eaten on the plate there. Yeah, you could say it's second entry, but there'd have been a time where I'd have taken trades like that, but not anymore because you just get stuffed too many times. So, having said that, there is a lump of liquidity at 600, so that's clear. That pushed that down. So this might come down, but I'm just not getting involved because it's clearly congested. I was going to mention that because I saw that lump of liquidity at 600. And there's not a great deal further up, so that might bring us down. It's hard to say. But, well, you can see that, can't you? It's clearly congested, so it's just a no-no. It could do either. It could go up or down. I got not a bloody clue, in all fairness. A lot of the times when we get these quick, sharp moves, we take a lot of them back quickly. You can see that on the news. It will rocket up and you think, yeah, great news. And then all of a sudden it just comes down and more or less finishes where it started. Yeah, it's just risky. If you took that one, think, yeah, lovely big bearish bar. Down we go. It may do, actually. I'm surprised that just dropped out of there. It's possible we could get down here. Leg. Another leg. Down here where it's possible. Some more liquidity at that 600, which may stop that out. Okay, I'm just going to take a quick 5-minute break, guys. I'm just going to make a quick cup of tea. I will be back in 5 minutes. Okay, what have I missed? Not a lot. Ryan, the bookmap liquidity doesn't tell us anything. It does. It doesn't tell sell orders or buy orders. No, it doesn't. But it tells us areas of liquidity. And as we know, prices moves towards liquidity. So the bright areas is where prices are more likely to move to. The darker areas is where they can move more freely. So there's some sell orders. They're sell orders. Now, whether they're profits from a buy order or whether they're generally people putting an order above here, they're still sell orders. And if there's a lot to selling, prices will generally start to come down. But it does tell you something. Otherwise, it wouldn't. People wouldn't use it. Yeah, it's eating that up now, see. Okay. It's somewhere around about the 96. So I'd say that's more likely to come down. Because there's strong liquidity down there. There's not as much further up, and if what there is up here. But obviously, you've got to take into consideration aggressive buyers and sellers, because bookmap doesn't show you the aggressive buyers and sellers. Well, it shows you when they buy and sell, and that's what all the little balls are for. Obviously, they play a part as well. Yeah, it's just unclear at the moment what's going on. It's hard to say, really. I mean, when I first started using it, it saved me some trades, so it tended to do more a while ago, but lately, not so much. So it's hard to say, really. I mean, some people swear by it. A lot of traders use it. It's just one of those things, isn't it? I mean, I don't know. It's hard to say. I just have these areas just out of interest because I know there's larger, some large sell orders up here. So that's the strongest area at the moment up here. So I don't know. I mean, it obviously works because lots of traders use it. So it's not completely useless. Otherwise, it wouldn't exist. People wouldn't buy it. People wouldn't use it. But for scalping a couple of points, negligible mainly. Yeah, where I think it would help if I was going for more runners, because if I can see the large area of liquidity up here, it may give me the confidence to hold on to a runner a certain degree. And I think in a trend, it helps in a trend as well. Well, yesterday when I was looking at these and I was putting these areas of liquidity, it was punching straight up to them, wasn't it? So it does play a point. There was an area up here. I remember it yesterday. It was 72. There was an area there. So it does help more in trending days, I think. Everybody's got their own way of doing things, haven't they? Their own way of thinking things. Some people, I notice some people use more moving averages. So if it makes you feel more confident in your trades or does something, then then you've got to use it. But it's a personal choice. No, you don't have to use it. No one has to use it. But yes, it's a personal thing. Lately, when we're ranging, not so much. But more when we're trending, it gives me these areas. So if I'm looking to go long here and it's a nice setup and I can see a mass of liquidity up here, I know there's a good chance that is going to be a target area. And if it coincides with a measured move, then it's going to give me the confidence to hold it a bit longer rather than just go for 2 points. So that's where I'd like to be in the future. Once I can get some nice, maybe, my accounts with $7,000 in, and then, maybe hold a bit longer. Then yeah, it'll give me more. I don't look at it as much as I initially did. I put these areas in and I have a quick glance, but my eyes are firmly fixed on the chart. So it's a personal thing. There could be stops, but the point is, prices move towards liquidity, whether it's a buy stop or whether it's a buy or a sell. It doesn't matter. If I buy here, my profit is up here. That's going to show as a sell stop, because if I buy it, I sell it up here, and vice versa. If I sell something, it's going to look like a buy order because I buy out of the trade. But the important bit is it's liquidity, and that's where price moves towards. Hence, when I was looking at those, I was marking these areas yesterday. So, mate, you can. It's a personal thing, isn't it? Yeah, I find it helps me. But you don't have to have it. You say a lot of liquidity is massive here. It should move there, but we're moving in the opposite direction. Liquidity is stronger up here, isn't it? Yeah, there's liquidity here, so that's quite likely buy orders. So after this, if people are saying let's buy if the market goes down here, but it's not something you can learn in 5 minutes. But Yeah, absolutely. As I said earlier, it's better for going for more points. So if I see masses of liquidity up here, yeah, large areas, that's likely going to be big traders, big areas, yeah. So, I mean, ideally, really, you want to be going where the bigger traders are. If I'm thinking about taking profits here and I can see masses of liquidity all around this area, then that's likely where it's going to be going. And obviously, if the big boys are heading up that way and that's where they've got their areas, and I'm getting to the stage where I'm starting to swing a bit more, then I want to be following the masses, you know what I mean? You ever looked at UK spread betting? To be honest with you, mate, I don't even know what spread betting is. I've heard the term quite a few times, but I've just never really sort of took an interest in finding out what it is. I'm assuming it's some form of trading, but I know there's a YouTube channel with a British guy with a bunch of guys on it, actually, and I think it's called UK spread betting, so I might look into it one day, but I'm not really that sure, mate, in all fairness. I'm not sure. 4604, was there? 4604. Yeah, there is. Just below 4605. 4605 at the moment, there's 312 orders, which is here. Yeah. Now, I'd say it's likely we're going to pull back a bit. Sometimes we don't hit it in the first go. Sometimes we'll pull back, and then sometimes we'll hit it. But there is orders there, and I'm guessing there's orders there because it's a measured move. Why won't that move down? Oh, what am I thinking? Yeah. But there's still some there. It's a fraction under. Well, no, it's 4605, so it's here. It's a site that helps with the emotions. I think I know what you mean. Let me have a look. There's a guy, a British guy, short-haired British guy. I'm pretty sure it's called UK spread betting, isn't it? I am subscribed to it, but I can't think. Spread betting. I think there's all sorts of stuff on it. That guy. I think that's the guy you mean, isn't it? Yeah. Is he you mean? I do watch him quite a bit, and he does talk about. He does talk about the psychological sides and so on and so forth. But I do watch him. So I think if that's what you mean, Artie, I think that's what you mean. So if I was going to go long here and I could see this liquidity, it's building up this liquidity, and there's some at 3 and there's some at 5. So if I was looking to go long there, it would just give me the confidence that I know there was other traders with profits there. Anyway, something on Facebook the other day. He has the same funny accent. It's not a funny accent, mate. That's how English people are supposed to talk. You Americans have got it all wrong. Yeah, that's him. Yeah, I do watch him from time to time. Yeah, he does talk about psychology. But you know, someone sent me a message. Where was it? Yeah, I mean, the thing I put on Facebook was more a general discussion on what people. You know what people do, because I've had my times. I went for a month without doing it, and then I decided to go for more profit a couple of weeks ago, and I lost a couple of trades in a row. I clearly wasn't prepared for it mentally. I think if you're going to start going for a little bit more profit, you need to have healthy bank balances and a bit more confidence. So I put a post on there, and this guy, I actually take a photo of anything, but he put. See if I can find it. I can't find it now. It'll be here somewhere. I think I'm close. Okay, yeah. A guy sent me a copy of a tweet he found. And it said, no book, tweet or coach will keep you from losing more money than you intended to. You have to get so sick to the stomach of making the same mistakes that you reach the point where you say enough is enough, then maybe you'll stop hurting yourself. And I've tried lots of different, I've gone to bed at night with my earbuds on listening to God knows, what bits of information. playing, different sort of, I don't know, all sorts of different weird sounds in my head, trying to, find something that helps. And in all honesty, nothing I would say has really made a difference. A little bit of steady breathing, calming yourself down before a stream, I think helps. But I think he's right. I think he's hit the nail on the head there. I think it is just time. You have to just get you have to get pissed off with losing again and again and again, and something I think just changes in you. But I do watch him. He's a nice chap, isn't he? He's interesting to listen to. I was doing well, and I started struggling. Artie, I think it's just a journey, mate. It's like a roller coaster. Sometimes you get ups, then you get downs. But I think if you continue at it and you keep trying, it's moulding that brain into working the way a trader needs to work. And we've all heard the stories. We're not programmed. We've not been brought up to work that way, to be able to accept loss. We take a loss, we want it back. Not only do we want it back now. So I think it's just a time thing. I have clearly improved. I can hold a PA now. 2 of my PAs are over 25 days. I've not been able to do that before. So I'm finding I take 2 steps forward, 1 step back. Now, I went a month without revenge trading at all. Now, it was a massive plus for me. And the only reason that changed that for a day was the fact that I looked back on some of my older videos and looked that I was making between sort of $200 and $1,300 a day. And I was thinking I'm going to go for a few more points. And just unfortunately, I happened to get caught out on 2 trades in a row that only went for about 3 points. So had I been doing my normal 2 points, they would have won, and it just screwed with my head a bit. And I had about 4 or 5 PA accounts, and I revenge traded one of them, just trying to get it back, just out of pure frustration, because I knew I'd made a mistake. I wasn't psychologically ready for a change like that. If you want to start going for extra points, and you can make extra points, but you are going to lose the odd one more. Now, if you look at the Penguin guy, I think he's a good trader. I think he's a technical trader. He's a solid trader. He knows what he's doing. And he'll do 2 winning trades and 1 loss in one day, and he'll be 5-6 points up. So taking more points does work, but obviously it's got to be a good setup. But I'm just not mentally ready for any change yet. Things was going well. I was averaging 1 trade a day. I was doing okay, so I've just got back to it. But I just had that one day where I went a bit stupid, ended up blowing an account. Just if I struggle, I find something hard, I just put something on Facebook and have a bit of discussion, and I get a few tips, a little bit of sympathy. Sometimes I need that. I like people to say sometimes, don't worry about it, don't beat yourself up. It just makes me feel a bit better. But it's not, when you manage to get a PA account and then take a payment, it's not all plain sailing. It still takes time. You can't go from earning 0 to hero overnight. Earning those types of money affects you mentally. And I think it's a slow climb up a ladder. Occasionally you're going to slip off a couple of runs, but I think, you'll get better and better at it. Best loser wins. I'm in the middle of that at the moment, Graham. It's on my Audible. Let's have a look. Trouble is, I play it at night. By Tom Hoggard.
He begged my boss to lend him money so that he could trade again.
That's the guy.
Make the money back.
The trouble is, I have it at night, and I've fallen asleep. So I have got it there, and I've most of the way through the mental game of trading. I've done the Intelligent Investor. These are the only ones I've still got left, but I've read dozens of books. In all honesty, Trading the Zone I've listened to about 3 times, I think. Forex trade, how to trade the financial markets, how to trade the Forex markets, all sorts of stuff. And those are just the ones I've got on my phone. But I've tried all sorts of stuff, mate, and that tweet for me summed it up. that you need to get that sick to the back teeth of failing. That and time. I'm a big believer in time. You know, we all have emotions in our life, and when we have any of these times where we have these big, powerful emotions come into play, first thing you do is panic, you stress, you this, and then with time they start to fade away and you start to get used to them. But that's my thoughts on him losing is part of it. Absolutely, yeah. But you try to tell that to an inexperienced trader, it doesn't quite work like that. But yeah, it is part of it. But what I will say, when you get good at this and you get very accurate at it, you can get a very high win rate. So losing will be few and far between. You know, I don't think it's unheard of to get 95, maybe a little bit more % if you're very, very careful and you're very choosy. You can certainly get 90%. But I suppose that other % might, you know, because you can make mistakes. Excuse me a second. So, read the tips at the end. Some reason on the comments there's a little blooming round love art there for some reason, which you can't get rid of. Why is it doing that? I'll have to wait till the next comment till you move up. Did you say Al Brooks? Mentioned above. There we go. Read the tips at the end. Of the Al Brooks I mentioned above. Yeah, I've watched bits of Al Brooks stuff before. Yeah, see that 5 level is very strong. So I think if I took a trade here, this is where I'll be expecting it to get to. Penguin should do a live trade. Again, he's become fishy. I'm not sure what you mean there, but he's become fishy. You might have to explain that to me. Okay, I can see that punching through there. There's nearly 500 orders there. So, boom. Yeah, but I think Bookmap is more in trending days when you're holding on. If you can see large areas, I think that's where it more plays a part. I don't look at it as much. It's above my head now. I have a little scan once every sort of 10 minutes. Yeah, there we go. Straight through that. Yeah, see the one down here, there's 200 odd orders. The one up here, there was 400 odd. So it's obviously going to move to the strongest area. But obviously, it depends a certain amount about the aggressive buyers, the people who just hit the buy and sell button. Let's have a look. He's the next comment. Oh, he also looks at our Brooks. Look, I've missed something here. Yeah, sure. I believe Matt got it from Al Brooks, didn't he? I think he's supposed to be the granddaddy of it, isn't he? I mean, it's hard to believe how he can't lose a single trade. No, he does lose, mate. Excuse me. Yeah, he loses. He loses his fair share. I think he averages about 80%. But because he goes for more points, here, I'll bring his thing in. Because he goes for more points, he tips the balance comfortably in his favour. Where's this? Where's his little... Oh, there it is. let's have a look. Yeah, I'll bring him in quickly, yeah. Okay, so he won 2 that day, didn't get Phil there. 1-2, lost 1. 1-2, lost 1, 1-1. So he does lose them. So in just these 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So in those 7 trades, he lost 2. So, you know, he does lose them. 1-2 there. 1-2, lost 1, 1-1, 1-2. 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, lost 1. 1-3, lost 1, 1-3, lost 1, 1-1. So he does lose them. I think he's about 80%, but look at his points. He averages around about the 5 to 6 points. So, you know, 3.5, 6.5 nearly, 5.25, 6.5, 8.25, 6.25, 5.758. So he averages around about the 6 points. And if you can do that trading 80%, you make a lot of money. So I like him. He's quite a technical guy. I think he's a good chart reader. And that's what I'd like to do. But in all fairness, I need to build my confidence by building some pots of money and taking some regular monthly. But if you can find a decent trade in a nice uptrend, I think you can at least, you know, I go for 2 points. I mean, that trade I took the other day, yesterday, it was a really nice, neat. It was, where was it? It was that one there. Now, we had plenty of room to the highs, and it was working lovely. We hadn't had an overshoot. And if you took that one tick above it, just to the highs was 3... Well, not as much as I thought. Just to the highs was 3 points. But look how far it went, 10 points. Even if you'd have sort of followed it up to that swing and then that swing, even if you'd have got taken out at that swing, or... I'd have got 3 times what I took. So you can afford to have a lot less win percentage if you're taking, you know, risking 1 and taking 3. What was the risk? So that was 2 points. So it was a 2.5 point risk. Even if you took 6 points at this swing, what I'd have probably done is, if I was following that up there, as we pushed up here, I'd have probably jammed my stop up. Was it there? It was here, wasn't it? As we pushed up here, close to this top, that's where I'd have come out. I wouldn't wait for this. So if you got, if you took that one and maybe, I don't know, even jammed it in there, there's 8 points there. That's a ton of profit. If I can do 2 points a day, I'm pleased with that. That's the equivalent of 4 days in a row. Now, if you had the confidence just to keep on leaving it and bring it to these swing highs like the gorilla guy does, you'd have got taken out here. Now, that would have been a huge amount of profit. There, isn't it? Where was it? Was it here? Well, I say huge. It'd have been nearly 20 points there. That's, in my opinion, that's 2 weeks worth of profit in one day. You are going to lose more, so you need to be mentally prepared for that. Okay, so let's just think about what I'm doing here. Push up, leg up. Nice measured move. Got to be careful here, though, because it's just a little bit unclear. It does, Ryan. But about a week and a half ago, I got it written down here somewhere, I went back over his trades. Where is it? For, I think it was 8 days in a row, all the trades that he'd marked. Can't find it now. 8 trades in a row. Oh, I got it, yeah. I think it was over 2 weeks. And I worked out that 105 trades made 2 points or over. In fact, over 2 points. And 2 made less. So if you're going from 1 point to 2 point, you're making 100% extra, 50% extra profit, aren't you? No, you're doubling your profit. So 105 that did, 2 that didn't. For me, that's a no-brainer. I come across very few that don't make 2 points. And I think I averaged a while ago that the good trades I took, 85% of them made 6 points or over. So, but it's a personal thing. I've seen Thomas Wade trading some of his runners, let them go up 6 or 8 points, coming down and stopping him out. Now that to me doesn't make sense. I would have to follow it up. But everyone's got their own slight different method of doing it. You go for 4 to 6 ticks. Yeah, even people like Daniel and Marco go for 6 ticks now. So there is a possible second entry long here. I'm not convinced that's a great looking channel, so it might. I don't know. I've got 3, 5 ticks today. Well, in all honesty, mate, apart from that one trade I marked, where was it? There's nothing I think that's a decent trade. I thought that was okay. But in my opinion, going for... what did you go for? 5 ticks? It's a big ass risk, that. It's 3.5 points to the tick above. So it's up to you, mate. It's a personal thing, isn't it? Some people do. But in all honesty, apart from that one I thought wasn't too bad, I haven't really seen a great trade. So... But, I'm not telling you what you can do and what you can't do. That's down to you. You make your decisions. But for me, 2 points works. And it's very few decent trades I take that don't make them. And you'll notice, not only do I do that, is if I'm taking a trade here, most of the time I'll drop a limit order, well, not 1 tick above, but wait for it to trigger and I'll drop it there. So I save myself a tick. So all I really do trade is 7 ticks above the signal bar. Add up. Mate, look, it's a personal thing. You can do whatever you want. I can't see decent trades here, to be honest with you personally, but that's it's up to you, bud. It's up to you. A lot go for 2 points. I don't think many go for a point. Some do. I know Marco doesn't. I know Daniel doesn't anymore. They go for 6 ticks. So it's a personal thing. Yeah, absolutely. Sometimes it is. It's how risk averse you are, really, isn't it? But I know 2 points have worked really well, and from going from 1 point to 2, I'm doubling my profit every time I trade. So, if I go for 40 trades without one, I've more than killed it. Do you know what I mean? But dicey trades in really congested areas, that's when you can do, it can maybe at 6 ticks or 4 ticks, something like that. But good trades in good areas will go for that comfortably and more. And I'd rather sort of just wait for one nice trade a day and get a couple of points. But obviously, to get the same sort of profit as me, you've got to take more trades, and more trades generally means closer to, more chance of, if you're taking 10 trades there opposed to my 5, you might be more chance of having more losers. So it's a personal thing. You've got your own. But I remember messaging Mac about a year ago. No, it was more than that. It was about a year and a half ago. And I was saying, I'm scalping a point. And I said I did 4 trades in a row over however many days. Beautiful trades. And I won a point from each of them. And then on my 5th trade, I went for a trade. The signal bar was quite large. Tick above it, tick below. The commissions, I ended up slightly in the red. So I said, what if I put a limit order in? I wait for it to trigger. So this bar, I wait for it to trigger and drop a limit order 2 ticks back. And then go for 6 tick profit. He went, you can do that. That's fine. On the only downside is you will lose some trades because they push off. But what he said, when you've been doing it a while, you'll naturally develop your own way of doing things. Now, Mac teaches to take a good signal bar, but we've all seen him mark 2 dojis in a row, so Mac will bend his own rules. I don't doubt it for a second. But, once we get used to seeing this day in, day out, year after year, you'll naturally find your own comfort zone. If you take a trade here for 1 point and every trade you do, you see it rocket up, sooner or later, that picture of that pushing up another 6 or 8 points, it's going to stay with you. You're naturally going to be curious and think, And then if you look back at all your good trades and think, that one made 8 points, this made 4 points, that made 6 points, that made 9 points, and you do that 30, 40 times in a row, the numbers don't lie. You're going to start to question, maybe I should go for a bit more. And I went from 1 point to 6 ticks, and then I went from 6 ticks to 2 points. So, but I think 2 points is a nice round number. Now, the ATR is a bit low lately, so, some people might take a bit less. And I noticed, what's his name, from Top Pick Trading, Tyler, he tends to go for around about the 2 to 4 points, depending. Now, if he was taking a trade here with a high up here, 6, 7 points away, clear trend, then he may go for 4 points. So I've seen him go for 4 points and I've seen him go for 2. Lately, the ATR's low. I've seen him go for 6 ticks, but it depends on the context of the market. Like yesterday, it was clear we were having a lovely. So if you can get in here or here, there's no reason why you can't, make 4 points or 6 or just follow up for each bar, But I think as our experience grows and our confidence grows and the bank balance gets nice and healthy, you may, there may be times where you think, actually, I'm going to hold on a bit longer here. And but as I say, it's a personal thing. Like Max says with your runners, it's a personal thing. Some people follow it up per bar or per swing. I've seen people let it go right up 8 points and let it come right down and take them out. To me, that doesn't make any sense. I think if it does go off, you've at least got to capture it in sections of 2 or swing or something, because it's a shame to let it go so far and to come back. I am looking here, but I'm not interested. There seems like a bit of a channel there to me. And I'm just not a fan of this. It's a bit of a messy... it's a messy channel. In fact, I'm not even think that is a channel, really. That might be, but I think the rest isn't. Let's have a look. So, yeah, maybe that is break new high. It's clearly a bit of a funny old day today. We're clearly sort of ranging to a degree. Leg up, break up to a new high. So whether we're going to continue up, I got no idea. Not a clue. Well, 4 ticks are going to have the highest win rate, naturally. 1 tick will have a way more higher win rate than 4 ticks. But look, think about this, okay? The numbers don't lie. I looked at Max charts for the last 2 weeks. This was about 3 weeks ago. And all the trades he'd marked were obviously winning trades. What did I say? 105 of them made 2 points or more, and 2 of them made 1 point. Now you add up 107 1 point scalps and add up 105 2 point scalps, and you'll have nearly double the amount. So the numbers don't lie. Look back on that's what I mean. It's a personal thing. Some people are happy doing the 1 points. Personally, I think you're going to struggle with 1 point. Now, if you can afford to do it like Mac, where you scalp 15 points or 15 contracts and you have 5 contractors on a runner, now that's going to be better, isn't it? But unfortunately, because, new traders, I haven't got the luxury of being able to take 4 contracts. I can do 2. So just scalping 1 point is tough, in my opinion. You need to be extremely good to make that a success, because, if you take a 2 point loss and you're making a point, you've got to have a high percentage rate just to break even. I'm out. Great watching. Thanks, lads. Anytime, mate. Anytime, bud. Yeah. It's a personal thing, isn't it? But I find very few trades that don't make 2 points. And for me, I'm doubling my profit every time. Now, I got 5 accounts and I did $200 yesterday, so I made $1,000 on my account. If I'd have done it the other way around, I'd have made 500, half the amount. And if I do that 30 times in a row before I end up losing one, think about it. And that one I lose may be a naff trade anyway, and it may not even make a point. So, it's a personal thing. So, yeah, I'm not sure what's going on here. It does seem like a little channel there with a break and a new high, but it's just choppy, isn't it? Yeah, see, if you 8%, so if you win 8 trades in a row and 1 point, you've won 8 points, yeah? So if you lose 2, let's say 2 points, you've done 4, so you're up 4 points basically for the week. Whereas if I take 2 points, I've made 16 points, and if I lose 2, I'm up 12 points, so I'm up 3 times. But trust me, the win percentage of 2 points as compared to 1 is really high. Well, I noticed on Max 105 made over 2 points and 2 didn't. Fun enough, those 2 were in the same day. So that might be a really tough, not very well moving chart, So, but it's a personal thing, mate. You do what you feel comfortable with. Maybe channel. Channel break. Yeah, I'm not even convinced I know what's going on here. Lag and a lag. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised, mate. You took that lower eye here. That fairly be risky straight away. You got 2 dojis there, it triggered you and stopped you out, but yeah, we do seem to get more and more days like this, don't we? We definitely don't get as many clear-cut trades. So whether that's partially down to the time of year or what, I don't know. Just can't get that to fit nice. It's possible it may be something like that. Fits a bit better, but the top doesn't. Not that I think it really makes much difference anyway. Doesn't matter whether you put it to here or here. They all sort of fall in different places. So, so we got a little channel with a break. Yeah, Edward, I wouldn't even said 65%. There's very different. I mean, that by that way, it's only about a 15% different. It's way less than that, mate. I'd say literally, I'll be surprised if it's not a 3% difference between 1 point and 2 points. That's a useful exercise to do, though. Look back on your own charts, but just pick the good trades, because the bad trades weren't meant to be anyway. But look at Mac's chart and just go through them one at a time. And, it's quite straightforward. That'll make 2 points, that'll make 2 points. And you'd be surprised how many. But you've even based that on a difference between between 8% and 65%. What's that, about 15%? Yeah, it's a 15% difference. It's way less than that. I'd say it's maybe a 3%. So, you do that with 3%, and the numbers never lie. The maths never lies. But as I say, some people just aren't comfortable with doing it. They'd rather just stick to the 1 point. I absolutely get it. But after a while, when you see these trades you take move higher and higher and higher, you can't help but think. Bears are getting hit. So we've had a little break. Would have liked a little new low, but I'm just a little bit unsure exactly what's going on. It looks like it's moving up, but yeah, trades like that might make 1 point, but it's not really a good trade. Is it going to go up? More than likely, but it's not what you would call a good setup. I wonder. I wouldn't be shocked if we have something like that throughout the day. Touch, fitting at the tops. May end up so. I mean, if we push up to here and then come back down here, it may be something like that. Usually at the end of the day, I might have a little play around and see what fits, but you quite often see Mac, saying all this fits within this sort of area here. I mean, the general bias is up, isn't it? We had that initial sideways, then a push up, then a bit more, then we had another leg, couple of attempts ago, and then we had a quick drop, but we didn't come down as low as this, and now we've pushed back up. So it's clearly ranging, but it may turn into something like this by the end of the day. Maybe a leg there, and possibly, you could say that's a sort of a couple of area legs of correction. So I think it's quite feasible that we've still got that lump of liquidity up here, very strong. And based on what I can see is if you can get a good setup, it would certainly give me the confidence to hold it at least close to that. But there you go. That's just my thoughts. I mean, I'm not an expert on this book map, but I try and look at it a bit and try and figure out, and these areas are often, pretty accurate. Yeah, I just don't like what's going on here. That's come a bit further away from there. That's come a bit further away from there. So we seem to be drifting a bit. Yeah, the only trade I can see at the time, see, I had that there, and then Brandt mentioned about seems to be ranging. If I kept that like that, I may have even taken that one. But the trouble is, it's a fairly hefty bar. I mean, in today's size, what is it? It's a 2.75, so it's a 3.25 point, which is quite a bit bigger than that. It's nearly double that, actually. So it's quite a hefty bar, but it's quite a nice positive bar, so you would probably expect it to go up, but at the time we touched there, and there, so you just don't know. We'd had a break from this. You just don't know whether you're going to get triggered, but who knows? Who knows? I ignore it. Well, that's the beauty about being a trader. It's up to you. You can do what you want. But if you continue to see that, you may ask yourself the question, well, hold on a minute. If I'm coming out from ear to ear and I'm seeing this every time I take my trades, 19 times out of 20, do I want to go for more? And that's a question you'll only be able to answer yourself, mate. If it's burning you when you go for more ticks, I'd say it's probably not a great setup or a really good setup. Because as I say, if I go back over max charts, about almost about 98% of them, a touch over 98%, go for more than 2 points. So, but mate, you know, it's a personal thing. God, it's definitely all bouncy all day today. $46.03. Yeah, see, we may get a bit of a drop out here. But I certainly expect to get to this level. I did wonder, actually, if we pull out here, and if we do, then it's a possibility. I was just looking at the tops of these. Yeah, if we do push down leg to leg, I don't know. I'm still a bit unsure about this channel. And until we either break this or do something different, this is probably the best I got. But I wouldn't be shocked if we had a break here. It's working off this line, you can see it, but it's sort of working in a bit of an upward wedge. So I'm not sure what's going to happen here. I don't know about. I used to follow these patterns a bit when I was trading currency, but that upward wedges tend to break to the top or the bottom. I don't quite know. Soon find out. But if we do break down, then it may be. It may be possible we may have something a little bit wider. I'm unsure. Yeah, it's been another hard day, isn't it? It's been a bit slow. Not as slow as it was the other day. That was flipping torture. Yeah, if we can get above these highs and maybe bounce on this top, then this is where I think we're going. It does look like a leg with a couple of legs of correction, and it does look like another leg. It's not the most of tidy ones, but for me, it looks okay. A couple of times up, but once we get above these areas, you know, I don't know, we may bounce in here and come down. I don't think we will. I think we'll push up. And what I will say is that's another reason I like these liquidity areas, because when they hit these strong liquidity areas, they usually have a good strong push. And that will get us to the highs for the last year and a half at least. So I expect then for this area here, and once we do hit that, I expect more liquidity levels to pop up higher. But 10 is the highest we got. There is a bit at 15, but not as much. And there is some at 20. But there is some up here, and I dare say they'll start to grow a bit. But for me, okay, we broke above that little line there, so let's see if it holds. Interesting. Interesting. Okay, that's done it. So I expected to push strongly. We may come back a bit first. Oh, look at that. There's been some sell orders there. Yeah, I fully expect to push higher than that. Now, if I didn't have this book map above me and know that there's a large amount of orders up here, I'll be thinking about not going short there, but obviously market conditions are telling me it's another leg. But I've seen large orders above here, and I've shorted there, and it's triggered, gone up and stopped me out and smashed through these. So it saved me, not so much now because I'm always aware about picking tops. I tend to avoid them now, but it is usually a good indicator. And if there's a lot of areas above that bar, it makes it extra risky. So let's see if this now comes out a little bit and turns into a slightly wider channel. Okay, leg and leg. There is a second entry long there. Not a massive fan of that, although I do expect it to come up. The bit that's concerning me is that if I've got this channel slightly wrong and we get this, which is possible, and if it does trigger you, it may come down to here. Let's leave it there just out of curiosity, and the reason being is because it can touch there, it can touch there, and it touches a couple of times up there, so depends. I don't know where you got. Where did you get 6 ticks? I can't. All I can see here is congestion. Interesting. Trouble is that's congested there, so no, I'd say we're coming down below these for sure. Yeah, for me this is just congestion. Okay, so it stopped out. Oh no, it never triggered that one. It never stopped that one. So prices have held there. Let's see what happens. Yeah, this is congestion here. I don't want to get involved in either of these because these have got traps written all over them for me. Okay, so something's got to be adjusted here, I'd say. Probably that. Let's just get rid of this for the time being. Got in just above the range line. The range line. I'm not sure what you mean there, bud. I can't see any sort of obvious setups. You may have took that fairly, but the trouble is, it's just a bit congested along there. So I don't know. And the fact that this is moving away, I'd be concerned about this coming here. So, it's just a bit congested. Sorry, congested. Call that a higher low, but the bar's a bit naff. So this is where you find out if it's more of a range. Leg down, leg down. I'd like to see maybe a triple test. Trouble is, you don't know whether people are using the range rules or not. So once, twice. Trouble is, it's so just congested, isn't it? I don't know whether you can incorporate that somehow. It fits better on the top, doesn't it? More of a spike and a channel. Leg. I prefer it to drop a bit lower than that. Leg. Interesting.
Order submitted.
See how that finishes.
Order cancelled.
Excuse me a minute. I'm just going to take a quick bathroom break. Won't be a second. Hi. Yeah, I'm not a massive fan of what's going on here. It's hard to say, isn't it? Seems like we've had a leg and a leg. Trouble is, I'm not sure what's going on. I know it's just choppy at the moment. I'm not even sure that's right. That's as low as I dare take it. I mean, working in this top tier could be 2 tier. I don't know. I don't know what's going on at the moment. What I will say is that measured legs up here. And there is some liquidity up here. Still quite a chunk. So I would expect it to go up. But there's no guarantees. Leg. Only means we've touched it twice, that's the problem. And you have to be aware about the fact that it is holding prices there. We have had a break above it, and we've had a couple of legs back, so I expect it to go higher, but there's no guarantees. It depends which how people are looking at it. But leg up, a couple of legs of correction, another leg up. Yeah, the liquidity up here and this measured move is telling me that I think it's more likely to go up. But as Osam mentioned, I'd rather break above this line before I think about going long, if we can get up here somewhere. Because at the moment, whether this channel's right or not, I don't know. But if it is right, or you think it's right, it's only touched twice at the top and twice at the bottom. So I don't know. Got to be careful getting trapped here. That's the problem. It needs to start pushing up and get moving really before I think about moving up. Okay, short-term trend channel break. New low. Now we're coming down. Are we pushing back up? Well, I got no idea at the moment. Okay, looks like a leg and a leg with a double bottom. Let's see what happens here. I just don't know at the moment. I'd say it's more likely to go up, but who knows? Okay, I think I'm going to knock it on the head actually for the day, I think. Can't see. Same again, such a lot of chop. Not a massive amount. You may have taken that one, depends. I looked at that one, but it just wasn't close enough for the EMA, and I don't know, I like to be a little bit strict. It just added to the risk. It obviously worked. That one you may have took, but it's a little bit congested. At the time, I'd move me trend to a channel to a trend, so I wasn't looking at that one. So, but I haven't seen a massive amount of really nice trades, in all fairness. Now, I try and be extra strict and just go for one if I can. If I can do one trade, say 2 points, I'm done and dusted. So, yeah, I'm not sure what's going on at the moment. So we've got these areas, but it doesn't mean we're going to be now. We may pull down, pull back, pull down, pull back to get up here. But I got no idea at the moment. It's up, it's down, it's just choppy. It's just not very clear. Channels aren't working really particularly nice. So there you go. So that's it for today, folks. So don't forget, we've still got this 80% off the evaluations until the end of the month, so about another 10-11 days. As you know, my code's down there, so if you do use it, it is appreciated. I had a bunch of them yesterday, so if you did use it yesterday, thank you very much. It's appreciated. So, yeah, not a massive amount of offerings today, really. A couple of slightly more risky ones, but as Max says, try and pick the best of the best. He obviously does. By the way, he picks a couple of trades a day instead of the 20 he usually marks. So that's it for now. So I'll be back here again, same time tomorrow. So 0 day, but I'm quite happy to go away on 0. I haven't said anything that jumps out at me. But I've got no problem with coming away on 0. Much better to do that than to take something a little bit more risky. So have a great evening, guys, and I'll be back here same time tomorrow. So stay safe anytime, Chris. No problem, mate. Stay safe. Have a great evening, and I will be back. Take it easy, Ryan. I'll be back same time tomorrow. Bye for now.